everybody. My name is Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Welcome to my post-game show right here everywhere. We're on Heavy on Jets on Facebook. We're also on my Twitter account, @BoyGreen25. And we're also live on YouTube, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. Make sure, everybody, that you hit the old subscribe button. We'll be doing this every week. All season long. Again, here on the ticker, you can follow me on all social media @BoyGreen25, BOY Green the color 25. Also subscribe on YouTube, www.youtube.com/BoyGreen25. You guys can get interactive in the comments section throughout this post-game show. I want to hear from each and every one of you. And this is our brand new post-game show, and we'll be doing this all year long. And again, that is right here on StreamYard, again on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Guys, this is a frustrating loss. The Jets end up losing this one 19-14, and they fall to 0-1 on the season. We all know the story of this game. If anyone who watched it, of course, was the terrible offensive line play, and obviously the concerning injury with Mekhi Becton, who unfortunately could be out for some time. He had the towel draped over his head. He looked in like a lot of pain. He was emotional, and he had to get help off the field and then had to be carted to the locker room. We'll give you details, again, when those come in. Again, this is about as bad as it could get here for the New York Jets. Before we go any further, I also want to give this shout-out. Every New York Jets post-game show on all my social media, again, Heavy on Jets, YouTube, and also on Twitter, is brought to you by Jabber's Wing Sauces. You can check out more details on their Facebook and Instagram pages for all your tailgating needs. That is, again, Jabber's Wing Sauces. But everybody, I want to hear from you guys. You guys jump into the comments here, and I see them pouring in everywhere from both Facebook and everywhere else. Again, the Jets lose to the Carolina Panthers. But to me, the key of the game, and again, you guys can drop comments all over the place, and I'll interact with them here on the screen. But the big thing for me was the offensive line play. Zach Wilson had no time. The pass protection was god-awful. He was getting sacked left and right. And quite frankly, there would have been even more sacks in this game if he wasn't playing hero ball and moving and grooving all over the place. Quite frankly, that just simply wouldn't have happened in this contest. The sacks would have been far more egregious in this one. So it was tough. Let's go to this comment from Jason Lefton. Good job, not bad overall. Loss sucks, but how is Becton? Again, we have no update on Mekhi Becton yet. It was a knee injury that he left the game with. And again, the towel was draped over his head. He was emotional. He needed help initially off the field. Also was carted back to the locker room. I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look good. The Jets lost Carl Lawson, who was supposed to be this dominant pass rusher. They were supposed to be making plays left and right. We thought he was going to be a key piece of that defense. Unfortunately, we were robbed of whatever that could have been. And now Mekhi Becton, it looks bad. Hopefully, fingers crossed it's not, but it did not look good, Jason, on that one. Again, comments pouring in here. You can also watch us. Again, we're streaming live right now on Facebook, also on YouTube, and also on Twitter. All right, let's go over to Michael here. Sam played a good game. We need to work on the offensive line and Crowder back. Yeah, again, Crowder going through the COVID protocols was not available for this game. Sam Darnold played okay, but let's be honest. He was dealing with a lot of the same issues he did with the Jets, missing 2 big-time touchdowns. Both DJ Moore, I think DJ Moore was on both of those plays, but no, DJ Moore and then Ian Thomas up the seam. It was in the red zone. That was wide open. Sam Darnold missed the throw. And then the DJ Moore cut out to the right side of the end zone. He missed that one. The Panthers had to settle for a field goal on the second one. And on the first one, they fumbled on the next snap. So again, Sam Darnold, while he gets the revenge, the Panthers beat the Jets. They're 1-0. The Jets are 0-1. I'd venture to say, quite frankly, it was a lot of the same old from Sam Darnold. He did have a nice couple of plays. You got to give him a tip of the cap. The Robbie Anderson play. And Jesus, I mean, Sheldrick Redwine, one-on-one with Robbie Anderson. Not a recipe for success. Absolutely terrible. But besides that, I thought the Jets defense overall played pretty well. There was 2 big areas of concern. The run defense against Christian McCaffrey, which was somewhat expected because Christian McCaffrey is phenomenal. But obviously, they struggled there. And then getting a consistent pass rush. That was the game. If Sam Darnold and the Panthers offensive line was able to keep him upright, he was going to slice and dice his team. And quite frankly, he didn't do it to an insane level, but he did it enough to get the win there. Again, continue to pour in the comments from all levels of social media here as we break this one down. But again, the Jets need they need to do something with this offensive line. And quite frankly, it's going to get worse before it gets better with the Mekhi Becton injury. Let's go over here to Malcolm Harper. Zach Wilson played well under the circumstances. That I would agree with, Malcolm. I think you nailed it there, quite frankly. Zach Wilson showed some chutzpah. The stats ended up being pretty respectable at the end of the game. The 2 touchdown passes to Corey Davis were phenomenal, terrific. The first one was wide open, but a great throw from Zach to get it to him. And the second one was just brilliant. It was just, again, that chemistry where he threw it before Corey Davis was even looking, turn around, bingo, bango, touchdown to make it respectable. He played well, all things considered. The running game was non-existent. No Tevin Coleman, no Ty Johnson, no Michael. It just was a discombobulated mess, quite frankly. The running game just wasn't there, which forced Zach Wilson to, again, just try to figure it out himself. And with the offensive line not being able to protect for longer than 2 seconds, it was just kind of a nightmare there, Malcolm. But all things considered there. This will be a long year. Here's the thing. Obviously, the Jets didn't play well enough. Their defense played pretty well. And Matt Amendola, I guess we'll just give the MVP of the game to him, who Braden Mann gets annihilated in the backfield because of a pull. He was kind of pulled in by the Jets defender and threw the Carolina guy into him. But Matt Amendola apparently can kick and punch, so there's a positive, but not a whole heck of a lot of them. This may be a long year for the Jets. They need to figure out that offensive line. That's the key. They absolutely need to figure that out sooner rather than later, or it will be a long year by every possible metric that exists, quite frankly. So, again, that to me was concerning. No matter where you look on the offensive line, whether it was at right tackle, who George Fant initially won the job, apparently, because Robert Saleh had kept that under wraps throughout the majority of the offseason. Who was going to win it? We thought it would be Morgan Moses when he was signed, but George Fant won the job, and George Fant obviously had a lot of struggles in this game. Mekhi Becton had struggles. Quite frankly, the entire offensive line had struggles. That's a key there. Let's go to the next one here. Ray Rivera from Facebook. I like the fact how we didn't quit. We showed some fight, so I feel in my heart we have a bright future. I love the fight, too. The Jets could have rolled up, and they could have just said, boy, we're not going to win this one. Let's just, not going to happen. So I did love to see the fight. And sir, a couple of things here. First off, finally, the no-huddle offense, suddenly the Jets' offense is moving and grooving. Why weren't we doing that more? Why weren't we expanding the offense and trying a little bit of that? It just seemed a little disconnected. I know Mike LaFleur is a first-time play caller, but when we got into the no-huddle, Zach Wilson immediately moved down the field. I think a lot of us were asking, where the heck was that the whole game? And speaking of where the heck was that the whole game, what about Denzel Mims, man? Where the heck was that guy? And then all of a sudden we see him with about 3.5 minutes to go. He's in there on the 4th down conversion, and then the huge play to set him up 1st and goal, which was that Corey Davis touchdown. Come on, man. No Keelan Cole in this game. No Jamison Crowder in this game. And then Denzel Mims? Like, where was Denzel Mims? I just don't get it. And Elijah Moore had 1 catch, but it was called back because of a penalty, had a drop. The Elijah Moore show that we're all so excited about just didn't happen. That one was a huge Debbie Downer as well, but a big one for me. Where the heck was Denzel Mims? I just don't get the hate that's going on there, or the invisibility of one Denzel Mims. All right, let's go back to CC7 here. What about AVT? He looked average, absolutely. But I will say this. I will not overreact about the AVT thing for this simple reason. He's been out basically all of training camp. He's gotten the mental reps, but the physical reps, he hasn't been there. He hasn't gotten that physical contact that I think is so important. The continuity of the offensive line was not there all year. All the guys were not able to play together, and that was, again, another mess. So I won't overreact to AVT. He needs more physical, just more reps, quite frankly, just more juice. So that's what I'm looking forward to as well. Let's go back to Michael here. We also need to take more risks like that last drive. That's the other thing for me, the risk versus reward in terms of some of the offensive play calling didn't seem to be there. There were some misses, whether it was Zach Wilson, whether it was the receivers, some brutal drops. I mean, Corey Davis had a drop on the drive, and it just killed it. And there was a lot more good than bad with Corey Davis, obviously. But the Elijah Moore drops. You had the Corey Davis drop. Again, just a lot of drops, and that can't help a young quarterback. How can you gain the momentum and get the juices moving and grooving? And like I said, unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of that. So a lot of the drops there as well. All right, Chris Barron thought the Jets were poor today. Wilson's stats shocking until that final score drive. I will say, yes, 100%. There was a lot of stat padding there at the end, but I like the chutzpah because, again, the Jets were out of the game, but not out of the game. If they got the onside kick, they were right back in it. They needed that offensive chutzpah in the first half of the game, quite frankly, to really find a way to make things happen. But coming away from this game, that the Jets lose, one of my first thoughts is, wow, the Jets could have had this. This could have been had. This was a game that was there for the taking. And for so long, the game was hanging in the balance. And then one thing or another, they're not able to pull it away. So that one was really, quite frankly, disappointing. Let's go to Jeremy here. Who's really surprised we lost? Sam missed a few throws, but also made throws and managed a game to win. I will say Sam, for the most part, took what was there. And that's something he didn't do, quite frankly, when he was here with the Jets. So should anyone be surprised they lost? No, from the Vegas standpoint, the Jets entered this game as a 5-point underdog, so the Panthers were supposed to win. But quite frankly, to me, when I entered this game, and to me, I still believe what I'm about to say. So I think the Jets and Panthers are pretty evenly matched teams. I don't think the Panthers were a 5-point better team than the Jets heading into this one. I'm not trying to be biased here. I just think that's how I see it. I think they are very evenly matched teams. Obviously, the Panthers have a lot of playmakers like Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall Jr. Again, I could go on and on. They got a lot of pieces. But the Jets could have had this game. They had multiple opportunities to try to do something. Really, it was the battle of the trenches, quite frankly, that decided this one. Let's go over here to Omar. Sad that we lose, but love how we played in the second half. 100%. It was good to see some chutzpah because, again, at halftime, it's 16-0. And, again, that reminds us of maybe another 16-0 game that was just from a couple of years ago. And the Jets were that team in week 1 against the Bills. And then they showed some chutzpah. They showed some pop. So, yes, absolutely love the second half. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of that in the first half, quite frankly, but I guess that's neither here nor there. Let's go to Young Dez, 83. Hopefully Becton stay healthy. That's the fingers crossed. That's the big thing. When Becton was drafted, there was 2 big things with Becton. First off, the incredible size. Can he stay healthy? Because of that incredible size, we haven't seen someone with that size and that chutzpah in terms of the footwork, the speed, the power, the everything. And could he stay healthy? That was the big thing. And unfortunately, through a season and whatever this one game, I don't want to overreact. Again, it should be coming in here soon on the Becton status, unless the Jets choose to wait on that. We'll keep our eye out on social for that one. If any of you see it, feel free to drop it in the comments as we're here live. But, it didn't look good for Becton, and that to me is incredibly concerning. And as well, let's go. Taylor, hope Becton's okay from a Panthers fan. I will say this about Panthers fans, because I know this is a Jets post-game show. I will give a tip of the cap. Panthers fans were really great this week. Did a collaboration. It's up on the YouTube channel on the pregame of this. We'll have the Patriots pregame coming out on Monday. We do it early in game week. Again, another reminder here as we're kind of going through. Make sure that you follow me on all social media. The banner running down below, @BoyGreen25, BOY Green the color 25, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and most importantly, go over to YouTube, www.youtube.com/BoyGreen25 for all New York Jets content all the time. But going back over to some of the questions here is that Panthers fans were great this week. So shout out to you Panthers fans. You guys were amazing, and it was great to see that kind of gamesmanship. Good luck the rest of the way. And I mean this. I know the video went viral on Twitter. The Sam Darnold answer to possibly he could have thrown the Jets under the bus, but didn't, has 87,000 views right now on Twitter. So I know a lot of people went that way, but I wish all Panthers fans the best of luck. They were great to go against this week in a competitive battle. But again, I'm rooting for Sam. And I know that was a point of contention this week among Jet fans. To me, Sam, props to you. Let's see what else you could do the rest of the way. But, again, this is just a tough one to swallow. And Busted Knuckles, damn right O-line was a disaster. And you're right, Busted Knuckles, 100% it was. It was just underwhelming. And when you don't have pass pro, they couldn't set up what Zach Wilson wants to do. In a perfect world, the Jets want to run the football, and then they want to set up the play-action passing game. We saw that in Pops, but overall, the play-action passing game was non-existent for the New York Jets. They simply just couldn't get it going because they couldn't get the run game going, and they couldn't pass protect, and that was just a ripe combination for a whole lot of crappiness. All right, let's go to Daniel here. A lot going on here. Okay. I thought the Jets were okay. Wilson was awesome, and given what they have and lost, they didn't lose in the worst way. Defense was excellent in the second half. Can't wait to go through this process further. Yeah, I thought, quite frankly, and I'm going to just kind of hide that one right now, but quite frankly, yes, I thought the offensive line, again, was terrible, but the defense was pretty good the overall game. Again, The lack of pass rush kind of bothered me, and the run stuffing. Christian McCaffrey obviously is terrific, but, that's a big one, Daniel, for sure, is that was another key in this game. The defense did well. I think the Jets outscored the Panthers 14-3 in the second half, and there it is from John Rogers. They sure did, again, coming in on YouTube. Again, we are streaming live right now on Heavy on Jets on the Facebook page, youtube.com, and also on my Twitter account via Periscope. So we're on all of those. They did win the second half. Let's go to just William here. Zach Wilson, strong arm. Yes. You saw that on the first Corey Davis pass where he rolled out the pocket and just kind of waited, and just natural arm talent is terrific. And obviously, that's what wows a lot of us. That's really what wowed a lot of us. I'll bring this back up with Busted Knuckles, who's coming back in. Last year, that game was over at half, 100%. And this is something that, again, I think a lot of Jet fans, again, I think I won't speak for others. For me, I claim to be an optimistic Jets fan. I always try to see the glass half full and then kind of work from that. And then in my head, that they can find a way to win these games. Last year, and really the entire Adam Gase era, there was just when you were down by a lot, you just lost brutally. So the Jets ended up losing this one by 5. I'm not trying to serve you moral cookies, okay? I know Jet fans don't want stale moral cookies on a platter served to them cold. But I will say it was good to see some chutzpah, especially in the second half. That hopefully is something to rally around. Again, the home opener is next week against the New England Patriots. All right, let's go over to Brian Farrell here. Second half was much better on defense. Wilson will be okay if the line plays better. On Becton, I thought the line played better after he went out. Is that legit? Or is that more a matter of situation? I'm going to be honest. I don't think it was – no, I wouldn't read too much into that. I think they have an incredible luxury is that when Becton went out, they shifted George Fant from right tackle to left tackle and brought Morgan Moses in. I think that is a capable starting offensive tackle tandem. I don't think they played better because Mekhi Becton, again, his ceiling is like, again, past his camera, okay? And then George Fant at left tackle is wherever. But I thought they were solid. They were fine. But I think the Panthers still got a lot of pressure in on Darnold. And it's not just the tackle tandem, and quite frankly, the offensive line in general. They got a lot of interior pressure on some of those stunt blitzes, and the Jets broke all hell loose. But you got to feel good about that, and that's why that Morgan Moses addition was so huge for the Jets. For situations like this, we talked about it as an insurance policy. Because right now, if it wasn't Morgan Moses, George Fant flipping around, you'd have like Connor McDermott or some garbage player coming in on the offensive line, which would make it a lot worse. All right, let's go to this one from Stephen Rice. Going for it on fourth was great. Nice to keep the game going in the fourth. Here's the weird thing. I don't know if any other Jet fans noticed this, but it was like 4th and 8 from like their own 30 or something. There's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes left, whatever it was. I think it was like 3:08 or something. And obviously, if the Jets punted, I mean, they're waving the white flag, which, by the way, they did a lot last year when clearly they had to go for it. Again, was it ideal? No. But they had to go for it, and they didn't last year. And I'm like, wow, just give up, roll over. So the Jets showed some chutzpah from that standpoint. But initially, it looked like Zach Wilson was like, hey, boy, walking off the field. And I'm like, you guys, I swear to God, I am going to go buck wild in this postgame show if you just rolled over, and they did not. So a good call there by Robert Saleh. Again, you never know what can happen. You always got to go for it. So fantastic there. John Rogers, good first game to get reps into the youth, 1,000%. Think about all the starters in this one that came out. Brandon Echols won the other outside starting cornerback job. You had Jamie and Sherwood, who ended up getting injured in the game, ended up being rolled out. Hamza Nasser-Ladin, you have Zach Wilson, obviously, Elijah Moore. Trying to go through all the guys. Elijah Vera Tucker is another one. So you really had a lot of young pups playing in this one and more. Michael Carter II had a lot of terrific moments in that one as well. So, again, there was a lot to take away. A lot of youth got opportunities in this one, and that was exciting. And, again, those reps, back to the comment from like earlier in the postgame show, I see we have a bunch here, so I'll try to go through a lot of these and just try to get some more thoughts out. But, that's what I kind of liked personally, is I really liked how we got a lot of youth in, and no matter what, those reps are going to be invaluable, certainly, moving forward. All right, here we go. We got William Hill. We will be okay. Let's hope we learn from this game 100%. Next week is a home opener against the Patriots, and while we'll see, they're playing like right now against the Dolphins, in that game. I don't have that up. But, again, Bill Belichick is a defensive guy, so he has a great record against rookie quarterbacks. So Mike LaFleur is going to have to try to make some things happen here. All right, we got Kenny here. Same old Jets. I've been doing this for 46 years. Don't be optimistic. It'll save you a lot of heartache. Kenny, I know what you're going through, man. That's tough. And it's hard for me, again, to sell moral cookies or whatever's happening. Here's what I'll tell you is it was disappointing in the first half. Zach Wilson didn't have a lot of time to throw, and every time he was getting the ball, he was getting rampaged back there. But I'm sure a lot of Jet fans are sick of hearing that garbage. That's what we heard with Sam Darnold, and that's not what we're hearing with Zach Wilson. I don't think it's the same old Jets. I'm not willing to go that far. I've got optimism. I've got excitement for what Robert Saleh and company could try to figure out moving forward, and we'll see where they go. But again, I don't believe this is the same old Jets, and maybe it's because I'm young. I don't know. I'm 28 years old, man. There's been some bad football in my time, but again, I'm excited to see. And why not? Let's get one of those in there, Ruby. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's show some chutzpah. Let's show some energy, Jet fans. We're 0-1. Is that ideal? No, but it's a 17-week season. We can still figure this out. We can still ramp it up. Now, we got to see what happens with the Mekhi Becton injury, but this team is resilient. I believe in Robert Saleh, and let's see what else he can do. I love the optimism, love the positivity, Ruby. All right, let's go to Joshua here on YouTube. Again, you can hit us up on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Make sure you follow and subscribe wherever you're watching. Show that support every week. We'll be doing a post-game show on all of these different platforms, so make sure you show your support for the community. All right, this one's from Joshua. I think the Jets will be better with the whole wide receiver core there. It'll be nice. O-line will improve as the wide receivers get back. 100%. A underrated factor here. Keelan Cole out. Okay, Jamison Crowder out. And Jamison Crowder is that savvy veteran who's been there, done that, can wiggle, get a little extra kind of going on there. So I did like that, or would like to see that, obviously, in the offense with, again, Jamison Crowder. Elijah Moore, again, he had a couple of moments we thought could turn into something, but he had the drop, and then he had the great play, and then it was called back because of penalties. So I think we're going to get all these guys back, which should make a lot of sense here. And Joshua, again, Wilson showed promise and resilience, which is what you'd like to see. Is, again, on the pick, we haven't really talked about this, but on the interception, Zach Wilson didn't put enough mustard on that one. So he kind of softballed it in there. Shaq Thompson with a one-handed pick. So that was my problem, is he didn't put enough chutzpah, but you like how he responded, and that's certainly a key. All right, let's go back here to John Rogers. Only way is up. Experience for a youth, big picture, 2023 Super Bowl. That's what I'm talking about, but I'm not giving up on this year. But I think the experience will be important. Either way, let's keep looking here. Again, you can file in those comments here. All right, let's go to Che Callie Carter. Growing pains. I'm glad that we're more competitive in the second half, still better than the Adam Gase era. Not setting the bar very high, are we there, Callie? I don't think so. So more JATS, Jet Chance from Ruby. I love that. Screw our team, WTF. Becton is so fragile. Again, the Becton injury is really a tough pill to swallow. He looked like he was in great shape coming into the season, and I know that has frustrated a lot of people, and I get it, and that's part of the risk of taking him. The ceiling is obvious. It's right there. It's terrific, but, again, we got to see how big this injury is. But, man, this would be a Debbie Downer. To lose guys on both sides of the trenches, and Carl Lawson, who's such a high-impact pass rusher, and then on the other side, again, to lose Mekhi Becton would be terrible, and hopefully it's not out for the season. We can only cross our fingers and hope for the best there. All right, let's see. Let's go to Winston on YouTube. If that first half was the worst we'll play this year, then I'm happy to eat it. Amen. You're damn right. After all the crap we've seen over the last couple of years, that's nothing. Oh, come on, Pickle Pants. We're already looking to the NFL draft. I love the draft as much as the next guy, but people, it's 1 week. Let's rein it in, man. Rein it in. Let's bring it in for Pete's sake. We're going a little too far, people. All right, another Panthers fan chiming in here. As a Panther fan, the Jets were great in the second half, but I think the hole was just too deep, and the Panthers just need to milk the clock. You saw that the Panthers really did show again, a little bit of whatever the word is. Like, they were super aggressive and doing whatever they were normally doing. And then once they had that lead, they kind of just reined in the offense and made things simpler. And quite frankly, I think that really helped. So accurate statement there, Christopher, on that one. All right, let's go back to you. McNally, 145. Wilson going to be running for his life since Becton is injured, even though he already was. He was, but again, I think with more continuity, again, if Becton's out for some period of time, I would assume so based on everything that we saw. Well, again, we'll get the official word there soon. But the fact of the matter is, I think George Fant Morgan-Moses can be capable. I don't think it's the end of the world. It wouldn't. Again, Becton is terrific, Hall of Fame talent. And so it won't be the same, but I think they can be competent with a new starting, a new starting offensive line. And then I think we catch up to the last comment here. How long does Douglas get to turn this around? Come on, Odie. Like, Gomez, people. What the hell, man? Like, how long does he get to turn this around? At least more than week 1 of the new regime with the new quarterback. Like, come on, man. Gee, I don't even know how to answer that question. Guys, just you got to chill a little bit here. Let's not go over the top here. Again, that's good. All right, Smiley, this is a very fair question. Quinnen Williams is the player of the game, and where the heck was Quinnen Williams? That was the pivot point for me, as I tweeted it in the middle of the game, that Quinnen Williams, again, it was the Panthers' interior offensive line who lost John Miller earlier in the week because of COVID. They lost Pat Elflein for a hot second. He ended up coming back in. That Panthers' interior offensive line was booty, was cheeks. And the Jets' interior defensive line, in theory, was great. John Franklin Myers, Quinnen Williams, Sheldon Rankins. But we didn't see it. Quinnen Williams was MIA. That was I'll have to go back to the All-22, check the tape to see, what was going on there. But quite frankly, as I was watching, that was, to me, what was kind of lacking was a Quinnen Williams pop. The defense overall played pretty solid, but the pass rush up front just simply wasn't there. Quinnen Williams was MIA. He's on the side of milk cartons right now as we try to figure it out. Simple. Panthers had McCaffrey. We did it. Obviously, McNally, that was a factor, of course, because, again, the combination of Ty Johnson, Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman, all that was just a bunch of doo-doo. It just didn't mean a whole heck of a lot, although I probably would have went to the younger guys earlier. Coleman probably showed the most pop, but he also had the most opportunity. So I probably would have tried Ty or someone younger, quicker, faster, explosive. That probably would have been my factor. But, again, doesn't hurt to have Christian McCaffrey. All right, let's go to Richie B. I blame James Morgan for giving up the recipe to the O and one bad zone defensive play call where Robbie had his only catch off a free release. It must be the James Morgan thing. Remember that, guys, is that, again, so the Jets cut James Morgan, their former fourth rounder out of FIU, and they wanted to bring him back on the practice squad. And then, for whatever reason, he's like, no, I'm good. I'll go to the Panthers. And then they did the classic brain drain, right, where you just say, give us, the spotlight, right? You get like the little light here, right? Let me, I'll do it for effect. You're like, hey, Morgan, what's the info on the Jets? What's the info on the Jets? You get one of those kind of scenarios. So we did have, I'm sure they did do that, and that must have been the difference. But that Robbie Anderson play was just horrible design in the zone, that you just had Sheldrick Redwine kind of coming up on Robbie, and it was impossible, an impossible scenario, unless you're a track star, as Robbie kind of came off the free release and just ran by him. Like Robbie speed versus Sheldrick Redwine, and as we found out, Robbie is faster, although I think we all knew that. So it must have been James Morgan, Richie B. It must have been James Morgan. More comments here. Again, feel free to drop them wherever you are. Again, on Facebook, Heavy on Jets, YouTube Live, and also on my Twitter account, @BoyGreen25 Live. McNally, we had some terrible fumbles, to be honest. Zach made some monster throws. I understand Moore's drop was good defense, but Davis drop wide open. Man, yeah, that one was a killer because, to me, some of these moments like the Davis drop is a drive killer. Like, the drive is destroyed based on that. So, and again, you can say, hey, it's more than just one play, but that one was absolutely brutal. Just a heartbreaker. Absolute heartbreaker. Let's go back to the Panthers fan. These kind of second halves where we get comfy and noise the daylights out of me. Today was good for Darnold and the defense, but the Jets look much better than the previous 2 years. That's a good sign, Panthers fan Christopher. I saw that from other Panthers fan also, just kind of on Twitter. It's that Denzel Mims play and others. Again, the lackadaisical nature of that Panthers defense, which allowed them to get back into the game. Let's go back here to Odie. As a Jets fan who was unhappy with the whole sideways move with the Darnold situation, the O-line was the problem in the Gase era, and Douglas revamped, quote-unquote, the offensive line, but it's still the same old Jets. I will say that on paper, he, quote-unquote, revamped it. Morgan Moses, and then by virtue, George Fant, again, sliding to right tackle, Morgan Moses coming off, but the overall depth increase, Elijah Vera-Tucker, and others. I would say on the, quote-unquote, revamped offensive line, I think it needs some more time to simmer. I think it needs to marinate. Again, Elijah Vera-Tucker got no reps during the preseason or training camp because of the injury. I think that's a huge factor people were overlooking, and this was his first action back. Let's see here. Zach Wilson's a bust. Knew that one was coming in. So there's your 5 seconds of fame, Modine, for that one. Thank you. Zach Wilson's a bust after the first game. That's what we like to see. All right, let's go to Richard here. Zach showed a ton of toughness, talent, and heart. The O-line needs work. Zero rushing attack. That must improve, or this will be a long season. I will say, Richard, you 100% nailed it there. Again, if the offensive line doesn't improve, I don't know what else could potentially happen to make any of us feel better, quite frankly, moving forward. Again, the offensive line was the pivot point for me here. And I'll go through some more notes here. Again, I'll give another reminder as we're doing this. So we're 30 minutes into this post-game show. Follow me on all social media, @BoyGreen25, BOY Green the color 25. And if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not, go over to my YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/BoyGreen25 for all New York Jets content all the time. We'll have a post-game show every Sunday after every game or whenever that day of the game is. We have a Thursday football game coming up in the middle of the year. And we'll also do a preview of the opponent. That'll come out every Monday. So we got our New England Patriots video coming out tomorrow, and you have all week long to read it and enjoy it. So again, follow me on all social media here. And one more shout out. Every New York Jets postgame show is brought to you by Jabber's Wing Sauces. Make sure you check them out on Facebook and Instagram for all your tailgating needs. They can ship anywhere around the world, so make sure you hit them up. Again, for more information, visit their Facebook and Instagram page right there. And if you will, that helps support the show. So I'd really, again, appreciate that. All right, everybody, let's go through a couple more comments here, and I'll go through some of my final notes here as well. Let's keep going here. Zach showed toughness. All right, let's go. McNally, man, don't lie to yourself. This offensive line is great, barring the left side, and Becton is injured. Or isn't great. Yes, all right. Let's see. The offensive line isn't great, barring the left side. And I don't think it's great. Again, McNally, I don't want this to kind of get blown out of proportion. I think the offensive line just needs more time. Elijah didn't have time. Now, the Becton injury obviously is a massive blow. There's no other way to put it here. But Elijah needs more time. I thought McGovern was fine. Nothing great, quite frankly. Right guard Greg Van Roten, and then the right tackle situation with all the movement going around. I don't think it's great. It's going to take more time, but I'm sure that's something Jet fans don't want to hear. Just got back from the game from Devin. What a miserable experience. It certainly was. I can only imagine if you were alive there. And for all the Jet fans that made the trip down to Carolina, I'm from the Carolinas. I spent a long time there, both in Myrtle Beach, Somerville, Goose Creek. I was all over South Carolina, so I would have loved to make the trip. A miserable experience, certainly offensively. And that is the bright moment. We mentioned it earlier in the postgame show, but Richie B, one bright spot, Amendola was stepping up for an injured man. Again, Braden Mann gets hurt. Amendola comes in just like, hey, kid, go in there and go punt. And for people who don't know, kicking and punting are so different. So huge shout out to Amendola. That was great as well. Let's go to Frank Clamor. Great contribution for the 2020 draft class, LOL. Becton, awful. Mims 2 plays. Zuniga, Clark, P. Ryan Davis, MIA, and Morgan on the other sideline. That's a good point, is that, you got to take the L's where they are. We thought the offensive line, that draft class was good at first because Mekhi Becton, we think he's a superstar. Mims showed a lot of pops last year. And all those players you mentioned, Ashton Davis is injured. Cameron Clark is out for the foreseeable future with a neck injury. Zuniga is on our practice squad, so that's not great. P. Ryan battling a foot injury. He was out for this one as well. And then Morgan, of course, that one in Carolina. So not great, France. I'm going to be honest. Not great, Bob. Not great at all. All right, let's go to another couple here before we wrap up. Richie B, give Zach time and he will shine and throw some dimes outside from check down Darnold. And that's the way to go, Richie, is that I think Zach, the more time he gets, the more we will see. So SC 843, you bet, baby. I'll represent that. That was my old phone number because, again, I'm down there from South Carolina. So love it, Nathaniel. Congrats to all the Panthers fans who got the dub. Well-deserved, and we will see. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of overreaction from a lot of people, but I will say for the Panthers fans in attendance, props to you guys, and God bless. Good luck the rest of the way. Like I said, it was good, competitive, fun trash talking back and forth all week, so I really appreciate it. Let's go to McNally. Can already see what Coward will say tomorrow. Matt overreacting. Probably. He will probably say, stat padding by Zach at the end of the game, bust, and really overreact, I'm sure. And let's see, definitely a tale of two halves. That was really it. If they showed any of that chutzpah, Richie, in the first half of the game, maybe they would have, been a little bit more competitive again there in the second half. They just gave up too many opportunities. They just had chances after chances after chances, and quite frankly, it just didn't come to fruition. All right, let me go through some final notes here before we wrap up. We mentioned the Robbie Anderson touchdown against Sheldrick Redwine. That one was terrible. The nice sack was John Franklin Myers, Foley, Fatukasi, that interior rush in the first half. That was good to see. I will give this random nugget. We'll probably expand more about this on Heavy on Jets, but according to the broadcast booth, which again, for those who don't know, like a Tiki Barber, who was kind of awful during the whole game, but, Tiki Barber and Catalan, they get this interesting deep dives with the coaches and players before the game, which is supposed to give them insight. So when they're in the broadcast booth, they could give us cool nuggets during the game. One of them they gave is when they met with Robert Saleh. He spoke about C.J. Mosley, again, Robert Saleh's first year. He said, initially when I got here, I didn't think C.J. Mosley was a fit in my scheme, which again fed a lot of the trade rumors we heard. And he said that C.J. impressed him with his weight cutting and then ending up fitting the scheme. So I thought that was fascinating nugget by the old broadcast booth there as well, who just kind of gave us a little bit of a nugget there. And just overall, again, Matt Amendola, again, he looks great. Pass protection sucked. Sam Darnold, a lot of those same mistakes, the botched handoff in the red zone, a couple of missed touchdown passes, but overall, we'll see what he does. And really, I'll just go back to this for Zach Wilson because, again, obviously, rookie quarterback. I thought we saw a lot of good with the evasiveness, right, to keep the plays alive, but he just tried to do too much superhero. And I use this line all the time on my podcast, the Jet Zone, which, by the way, you could check out. That's every Wednesday on the show, and feel free to do that. That is a audio-only podcast, and again, you can see it up in this corner, the Jet Zone. Again, that's the audio podcast every Wednesday talking all things New York Jets, so if you guys would like some of that, so you guys can get some of that action as well. But I will say is that, Zach Wilson showed evasiveness, which I liked, but he tried to do too much. So when he rolled out the pocket, he's like, trying to get a home run, almost intercepted. So I didn't like that. I liked the evasiveness. It was kind of a microcosm of his game. Liked the good, but hated the bad. So it's just kind of figure it out. Again, he's a rookie. No overreactions here. Not going to go crazy. But it was, again, just a lot of fun. This game wasn't fun losing, but it just feels good for the first time. Fans being back in 2 years, the Jets playing football, donned out the fresh Zach Wilson jersey, got the tags off. This is brand spanking new. So excited for the future and what can be. Again, we will rally the troops here. Get ready for week 2, home opener. For the first time in history, we'll have 2 rookie quarterbacks going at it in this Jets-Patriots rivalry. They've played twice every year since 1960. This will be the first time that we have Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, 2 rookies going at it. That should be a lot of fun. Home opener. I'm sure it's going to be crazy there at MetLife. Wish I could be there with each and every one of you. And again, we'll go back to the comments. Let's see. And this was a point I made earlier, Scratch, on YouTube. Why did it take them so long to get Mims in there? All the guy does is make plays. And I sent out this tweet, and it was kind of a joke, but not really. From Toy Story, there's that thing where he's like, coincidence? I think not. That was it. So Denzel Mims, gone the entire game. As soon as he comes in, big things happen. Coincidence? I think not. Like, come on, man. Put Denzel in the game. And the thing that's concerning for Mims fans like you, Scratch, and me, with Keelan Cole out and Keelan Cole out and Jamison Crowder out, we still didn't see Denzel Mims to the end. That is a terrible sign of how they feel about him as a player. If he can't get in when that's happening, when the hell else is he going to get in? That, to me, is concerning. We'll have to wait and hear more from Saleh and LaFleur and everybody else. That, to me, super concerning. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this post-game show. A couple of final nuggets here before we kind of wrap things up here is another shout-out. Again, the ticker that's scrolling right now. Follow me on all social media, @BoyGreen25. Subscribe to the YouTube channel where some of you may be watching this live, but also live on Facebook and Twitter. It's youtube.com/BoyGreen25. We have all New York Jets content all day long, baby. And I hope to be engaging with all of you just like we did in this fun live chat here in the postgame. And hopefully next week we're recapping a win for the New York Jets. That'd be a lot of fun. And every postgame show is brought to you by Jabber's Wing Sauces. You can check them out on Facebook and Instagram for all your tailgating needs. Make sure you check them out. They are a great supporter of this podcast, and I've had their wing sauces. They're great. They got garlic parmesan, bee sting, whatever you want. They got the flavors, baby, and they can ship those wing sauces to you wherever you are. So again, make sure you support them there. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this post-game show. Enjoy the rest of the Sunday football. We will see you here next week, same time, same channel, right here on youtube.com/boydgreen25, Facebook, and Twitter.